Hello class, today we're taking a look at equations with fractions in them, and we know in grade 8 that there are 4 general steps that we can follow when we are solving an equation. First one is to expand any brackets, second step is to collect the x's so they are positive, third step is to undo addition or subtraction to x, and fourth step is to undo multiplication or division to x. And of course any of these steps that we don't need in a particular question we'll just skip. In our question A, on the x side of the wall, I don't see any brackets. I also don't see any negative x's. I don't see anything added or subtracted to that x on the left side of the wall. The only thing to do then is to undo multiplication or division. Now we have this fraction here, x over 6, and remember that your fraction bar means divide, so this is really x divided by 6. To undo that, what's the opposite of dividing by 6? Well, it's multiplying by 6. And what I do to the left side, I must do to the right side as well. On the left side, multiplying by 6 and dividing by 6 cancels out, leaving us with just x. On the right side, we have negative 5 times 6. Negative times positive is negative, and 5 times 6 is 30. Since we have just x on one side and just a number on the other, that is going to be our solution. To verify this, we want to check our original left side equals our original right side. The original left side was whatever x is divided by 6. The original right side was negative 5. When we substitute in that x is negative 30, and we do this division, we have negative divided by positive is negative, and 30 divided by 6 is 5. Since the original right side was negative 5, the left side does equal the right side, and our solution is verified. In question B, we're again going to draw our wall. That's a pretty big wall. Okay, we're going to look for any brackets. I don't see any. I also don't see a negative sign on my x, but I do see something being added or subtracted to x. In this case, we are subtracting 9 from our x. The opposite of minus 9 is plus 9, and what I do to the right side, I do to the left as well. Minus 9 and plus 9 cancel out, leaving us with x over 4 on the right side. On the left side, negative 2 plus 9. Negative plus positive is different signs, so we'll subtract our numbers. 9 to 2 is 7. And we're going to keep the sign of the bigger number, and 9 was positive. Okay, so that is our undoing our addition or subtraction to our variable. Last thing to undo is your multiplication or division. As we talked about before, x over 4 is x divided by 4. And the opposite of dividing by 4 is multiplying by 4 on both sides. 4 multiplied and 4 divided cancel out on the right, leaving us with just x. On the left, 4 times positive 7 is positive 28. Since we have just a number equals just x, that's our solution. Checking our left side and our right side, our original left side was just negative 2. Our original right side was whatever x is divided by 4 and then subtracted by 9. In this case, we think that x is 28. We want to divide that by 4 and then subtract 9. 28 divided by 4 is 7, and 7 subtract 9 is negative 2. Since the original left side was negative 2, the left side does equal the right side, and our solution is verified. In question C, I don't see any brackets. I also don't see any negative x's. I'm going to undo the addition or subtraction. X is being subtracted by 1. The opposite of minus 1 is plus 1. And we'll add 1 to both sides of our equal sign. On the left, minus 1 and plus 1 cancel out, leaving us with our 8x. On the right, 5 plus 1 is 6. Next, we need to undo multiplication or division. 8x means 8 multiplied by x. The opposite of multiplying by 8 is dividing by 8, and we'll do that to both sides of our equal sign. 8 divided by 8 cancels out, leaving us with just x, and 6 divided by 8 is the fraction 6 over 8. Now, we do always want to simplify fraction answers, and in this case, we can simplify both 6 and 8 because they are even numbers. So we'll divide those by 2 to get our final simplified fraction of 3 over 4 as the value of our x. When we verify this, we want to pay attention to our rules for multiplying and dividing fractions. The original left side was 8 times whatever x is, subtract 1. Original right side was 5. Okay, we want to substitute in that x we think is the fraction 3 over 4 and subtract 1 from that. Remember, when you're multiplying fractions, you want to rewrite whole numbers as themselves over 1. And then the rule is top times top, 8 times 3 is 24. Bottom times bottom, 1 times 4 is 4. And from that, we're going to subtract 1. 24 divided by 4 is 6, and 6 subtract 1 is 5. Since the right side was 5, the left side does equal the right side, and our solution is verified. Taking a look at question D, I do in this case have brackets, so I'm going to want to expand those. 4 times x is 4x, and 4 times minus 3 is minus 12. On the other side, there were no brackets, so that's still 2. I don't have any negative x's in this equation, so I can move on to undoing addition or subtraction. X is being subtracted by 12. The opposite of subtracting 12 is adding 12, and we'll do that to both sides of the equal sign. Minus 12 and plus 12 cancel out, leaving us with 4x. On the other side, 2 plus 12 is 14. Finishing up, I can undo multiplication or division. The opposite of multiplying by 4 is dividing by 4, and we'll do that to both sides of our equal sign. 4 divided by 4 cancels out, leaving us with x. On the other side, 14 divided by 4 is the fraction, 14 over 4. And we can simplify that fraction by dividing those even numbers by 2. That gives us x is 7 halves. Now, of course, if you wanted, that is the decimal 3.5, but I'm going to keep it as a fraction for my work. For my verification, I want to do my left side and my right side. The original right side was the number 2. The original left side was 4 times whatever x is, subtract 3. I think that x is the fraction 7 halves. I need to subtract 3 from that. Now remember that 3 is 3 over 1, and to subtract or add fractions, I need a common denominator. So I'm going to multiply that fraction by 2 to make a common denominator of 2, and that's 6 over 2. Okay, 7 over 2 take away 6 over 2. 7 halves take away 6 halves is 1 half, and 4 times 1 half is 4 halves, when 4 divided by 2 is just 2. Since the original right side was just 2, the left side does equal the right side, and our solution is verified. In question E, I do have brackets to expand. 5 times x is 5x, and 5 times minus 2 is minus 10. The right side did not have left side did not have brackets, so I don't need to worry about it. It's still 4. I don't have any negative x's in this equation, so I won't worry about them. I will undo my addition or subtraction. X is being subtracted by 10. The opposite is adding 10 to both sides. That gives me 14 is equal to 5x. Lastly, I need to undo multiplication and division. X is being multiplied by 5. The opposite is dividing by 5, and we'll do that to both sides of our equal sign. We're left with x on the right side and the fraction 14 over 5 on the left. Again, we could convert that to a decimal. 14 over 5. We can make a place value bottom on, which is 28 over 10. Dividing something by 10 moves its dot 1 time, so this is the decimal 2.8. Okay, let's verify our left side and our right side. The original left side was just 4. The original right side was 5 times x subtract 2. In this case, we think that x is the fraction 14 fifths. We want to subtract from that a value of 2. Now remember, 2 is 2 over 1. I need a common denominator of 5, so that's 10 over 5. 14 over 5, take away 10 over 5 is 4 over 5. And you can see our 5's cancel to leave us with a value of 4. Now, since the left side was 4, the left side does equal the right side, and we're verified. In question F, we again have some brackets to deal with, so we're going to expand in our 3. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times x is 3x. And there were no brackets on the left side, so it's just 8. We don't have any negative x's to deal with in this equation. We are going to undo addition or subtraction. The opposite of plus 6 is subtract 6, and we'll do that to both sides. 6 and minus 6 cancel out, leaving us with our 3x. And on the other side, 8 take away 6 is 2. Last thing to undo is our multiplication or division. X is being multiplied by 3. The opposite is dividing by 3. And we'll do that to both sides of our equal sign. 3 divided by 3 cancels out, leaving us with our x. And on the other side, 2 divided by 3 is the fraction 2/3. To verify, we are going to check our left side and our right side. The original left side was just 8, and the original right side was 3 brackets 2 plus whatever x is. Okay, in this case, we think that x is the value 2/3. In order to add that to 2, I'm going to need a common denominator. So 2 is really 6/3. We want to add 2/3. 6 plus 2 is 8/3. And our 3's are going to cancel out to leave us with just 8. Okay, since the left side was 8, the left side does equal the right side, and our solution is verified. So I hope that has helped you with some equations where we have fractions either in the equation or as our fractional answer for x.